Hey everybody, welcome back. So I'd like to do part 2 of things that greatly improve my multiple chemical sensitivity and mast cell activation syndrome. In the last video, I talked about sauna, we talked about avoidance, we talked about Epsom salt baths. I think we talked a little bit about trisalts. We talked a little bit about some of the products that I use. I've done a video on some medications that I use. I'd kind of like to continue that series along. There's a few things that I forgot to mention in my last video. I believe that everybody enjoyed the last video. Hopefully it helped a few of you folks out. And we talked about diet in the last video. We talked about avoidance of dairy, cheese, sugars, several other bad things that kind of adds to the inflammation process that's associated with mast cell activation syndrome or MCS, unless your doctor's told you otherwise. This is not medical advice. I'm just speaking from first hand of things that's helped me. So let's get in the video. Number one thing in this second edition that I would like to start out with is distilled water. This is the kind I use. It is Food Line brand distilled water. And you may be asking, what good does that do? What's it different from any other water? Well, you have to understand how distilled water is made. Distilled water is purified water that they take and they boil it and they make steam out of it and they recool it down and recondense it back into H2O or water, and in that process they eliminate all the impurities, the bacteria, the I don't know so much about the chemical part, but it catches the bacteria, it catches the impurities, etc., etc. A lot of doctors don't recommend drinking a lot of distilled water for, you know, many reasons, because when you drink distilled water, because it's so barren, it's not mineral water, as it passes through your body, it's catching the good minerals as it passes through your liver and your kidneys and you urinate. Now, what it does for us canaries is distilled water, it catches heavy metals. So it catches the bad and it catches the good. So it is some risk involved when you drink distilled water. It's something that I use about once or twice a week. I drink 8 ounces, 10 ounces. You definitely don't want to overdo it, because if you're drinking, you know, like I did one time, I drank a half a gallon. I couldn't hardly walk the next day because it flushed all my minerals out of my body. But it is a magnet for heavy metals, and I'm assuming mycotoxins too, but I know it helped with some of my sensitivities. So that's number one on the list. Number two, something that I mentioned in my other video, I'll mention again because it's so great. I use 3% hydrogen peroxide, and I use it mainly as a deodorant. And the reason why is because a lot of people think that when they have body odor, when they sweat, they think body odor comes from their, you know, their self. But what it is, body odor is as you secrete from your glands bacteria eats the bioproducts or organic compounds that your body puts off. It's kind of like bad breath, you know. It's like bacteria. Some people get bad breath from not brushing their teeth enough. So when you use hydrogen peroxide on your armpits, it kills that bacteria and it helps to prevent you from stinking. I don't use standard deodorant no more. Old Spice, I used to be an Old Spice man. I don't use any of that stuff. when I put it on, it contaminates my clothes, it stinks to me now. It contaminates my car. It's just deodorant. It's just not a friendly thing for MCS a lot of times. The hydrogen peroxide works good for that. I also use it lightly in my car seats when I'm shampooing it. It's gentle on my car seats. Hydrogen peroxide is known to kill mold. It's a good alternative to bleach for killing mold. Same as vinegar. I personally can't tolerate vinegar, but I can tolerate hydrogen peroxide. Just go a little careful if you're using it on cloth seats, because it can stain and it can change the color of your cloth seats. I'm not sure about leather. I've never used it on leather seats, which I don't think a person will be shampooing leather anyway. We're mostly just talking about cloth seats as far as the shampooing. I use it in my clothes because it helps kill mold. It helps it from setting up, you know, and growing. So that keeps my laundry from musting, etc., etc. The only thing that it doesn't do is it will not remove mycotoxins, because remember this: if you have an IgE mold allergy, you're reacting to the mold spores. That's what you're reacting to. A lot of times, if you have mast cell activation syndrome, you're reacting to the mycotoxins. The mycotoxins are the dead part, or the poop, or the byproduct of the mold. So you can spray mycotoxins all day long, but it's not going to remove mycotoxins. The only way to remove mycotoxins is to remove the material. So that's a lot of times when cloth or, you know, build material, if it's got mycotoxins or mold, it has to be removed. But the hydrogen peroxide is a good preventative. That's where I'm getting at, is if it's treated with that, it helps the mold from, it helps keep from getting it set up. But also too, remember on the flip side, and here's an analogy that I use. If you just leave wet clothes in a dryer too long, what do? They must. Must is mold. That's mold setting up. That's how fast mold can grow, before 24 hours. You can do a load of laundry and put hydrogen peroxide in it, and because it's enough water there, it'll still grow mold eventually if it's wet. You need two things to grow mold. You need moisture, and you need a food source, something porous for it to eat. Now, it may be different things. It might be cloth, it may be clothes, it may be wood, etc., etc. It might be the log out in the forest. You don't know. But back in the video, humidity, I have one thing, humidity, that's a must. Keep it below 50%, kind of where you're living at. That prevents the mold. But the hydrogen peroxide is a good line of defense, a short line of defense. So we went over that, how good hydrogen peroxide is, what it can do, what it can't do. We went over the distilled water. So number 3, if you're a mast cell activation syndrome patient or sufferer, this is a must-have. It's EpiPen. Epinephrine, or also known as adrenaline. This helps keep you alive if you have an anaphylactic type reaction. I know that mast cell activation syndrome people, a lot of them already has it, but if you're not educated, please ask your doctor for one, and let your doctor explain how to use it. Keep it on hand. Luckily, I haven't had to use mine many times, but it has saved my life 3 times as a child. I had severe food allergies when I was little. Luckily, I haven't had to use it for anything recently because of my avoidance. So that's the number 3 thing. Number 4, let's talk about your water source. Well water is usually a must when you have multiple chemical sensitivity. Now, some people are so severe, some of the canaries are so severe that they have to have their well water filtered, because you might have a number of different things in it, magnesium, lime, limestone, you know, it could be anything. So if you want to take the money and test it, that's great. If you can't tolerate your well water, of course, put your water filter on it. If you're on county water, I know that I can't tolerate county water. I can't tolerate town water. Unfortunately, where I'm at, I am on county water. What I had to do, I had a good MCS friend come out. He's more educated on a lot of this stuff than I am. And he put me in a water filter to help catch the chlorine and the contaminants out of the water. I by no means drank it, but I can tolerate it enough now that I can shower, because your skin is your largest organ in your body. And skin is a good place for chemicals to work its way in your body. It's a good way to add to your chemical load. So you want to stay away from all the additives they use in treated water. Now I'm going to show you the kind of water filter that I use, so that way I can take a shower and I can take a bath. As I said, I do not drink it. I like to show it to you. Good stretch. So we'll take a little walk around here. All right. Got it at Lowe's. I don't know if you can see it. I actually have two on there. And let's see if I can get a little bit better. You know, if we can see it or not. There we go. But it does pretty good. I mean, it's better than nothing. It catches 0.5, 0.25 microns. It lets me take a shower, and that means a whole lot. Oh, let me get a see here and we'll go back in the video. Allows me to wash my hands, all that good stuff. Because a lot of people, they don't have access, you know, to well water. So I think, so that $200 investment really can lower your chemical load. But trying to think of anything else I'd like to include in the video. Oh, next thing I'm thinking of, cotton clothes, avoid polyester. Pretty simple. Look on the back of your tags, anything you buy, try to stick with cotton. I tend to do better with cotton, some people don't. 99% of MCSers, they do better with cotton. Because if you, what a good MCS friend taught me, if you're using polyester and you got a polyester blanket up to your face all night long and you wake up and you're coughing and hacking in the morning, chances are it's probably something that you have close to your face, your polyester pillow or polyester blanket. I went through that with a few blankets. I still use a little polyester. I try to avoid it much as I can, but I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helps some folks out. I'd like to do a part 3. I do have some things I'm trying. I'm trying about 2 new supplements, and I'm trying two new types of therapy. And I want to continue improving, getting well, go back to work eventually if that's possible. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but before I mention these 4 things, I want to make sure that they're sound, that they're good. I don't want to include anything in the video that's hogwash or that help, you know, a little bit. I want to see a good consistency. Anything I tell you that's helped me, it's something that I used for months. I'd quit using it, then I would use it, and I'd quit using it, then I would use it to confirm and make sure I wasn't, you know, just having a flare up or, you know, just a bad week. So I want to make sure that whatever I tell you is good advice, the best I can, and it's not one size fits all shoe, but if it helps somebody, it's worth it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you hadn't seen my first video, please go on my channel and watch it, and it'll kind of give you some things to look for. God bless. Have a good one.